Okay, I'm ready to show you the recipe for the clay I'm going to be using on the gnomes and on the gnome house that I'm going to show in another video. This particular clay mixture works up really nice. This recipe has equal parts Portland cement and Thinset, Versabond Thinset, and then I've added to this mixture the PVA glue, so just white school glue. Or craft glue, and then I'm just stirring this up together. I've used half as much of the school glue. We're going to see how that works up, but I used half as much, and if I need to add a little more, I do. So we're going to mix this up together. When it begins to come together, so I'm stirring it and pressing it together. So it's a little bit like mixing butter into flour if you're going to be making cookies or something. Right? And so I'm pressing the cement mixture into the glue, and if I feel it feels still a little too dry to me, then I'm going to add a little more glue to it, which it's still a little too dry, so I'm going to put in just a little dab of school glue. And then we're going to stir around some more. So now it's starting to come together. It's okay if some of it spills out of my bowl because I'm just about ready to dump it out anyway. And then I'm going to take just the cap, like a half a cup of water. Just a little touch of water, not much, because I want the glue to really be the moisture. Okay, it's really coming together well. So I'm going to scrape it off of there. And I'm going to turn it out there. And if it's a little too stiff, I'm going to just put a few more drops of water with it. There we go. There we go. Now I can remove my gloves, oil my hands, and now I can knead it with my hands without my gloves on. And it's not sticking to me. There you go. And if you're finding that you want it to be a little softer, then again, you could add a little more school glue to it. You could add a little more water to it. I would tend to add more school glue. So just to show you how that might look, just a little tiny, not much. Boom, that's it. Fold it over and work it in. This will make it more elastic. If you add water, it won't be quite as elastic for you. So this is really what we're looking at right there. Oil my hands. I'll be able to work it again. There we go. Keep this in a plastic bag while you're working with it. Don't make up any more than this, what we've created here, so it won't dry out too fast on you, and just keep it in a little Ziploc plastic bag while you're making your gnome, okay? Let me know how it turns out, okay? Let's get on with that gnome. Hello, here we are in my workspace outside. It's a beautiful day. We've had a lot of rain. It even had a little snow up in Scottsdale this week. So here in the valley, so pretty chilly here. I know, all of you that live in freezing weather, I know. But it was cold here. Anyway, so here we are. It's really great out here today. It's about 55 out here right now. So I'm going to show you this new project that I hope that you're going to enjoy. This little gnome right here. I'm going to show how to make him today. Of course, I was at the Dollar Tree. And at the Dollar Tree, you can get these cones, a set of some of those. I've got my cooking spray that I have sprayed the inside of one of those. My neighbor across the street's doing a little work, so that's okay. We love them. And I've got a paper cup that's going to help set that nice and straight. I'm using Cement Tile for the cone of the gnome because it sets super fast. It's super strong. Here I've got about 45 minutes before I need to leave and meet my mom and my sisters for lunch for my baby sister's birthday. So I'm going to get this board, and when I get back from lunch, I'll be able to slide that cone right out of the mold and be able to start making my gnome. And so I'm real excited about that. So this goes really fast. You all know I have no patience. So I like these fast projects. Cement all mixed up here. So it's just, again, pancake thickness. And if I've made too much, I'm going to go ahead and make 2. Or I always have my, when I'm making something with Cement Tile, I always have my ladybug molds ready in case if I have any extra, I can always make ladybugs. So this is all mixed up, no lumps in it, and it's about a nice thin pancake batter, more like a crepe batter. Okay, that sounds really yummy right now. Anyway, back to my cone, and I'm going to pour my cement all right into the cone, fill it up all the way. There we go. We do have a little extra. So, and then I'm going to kind of get the bubbles. You can kind of see the bubbles start to pop. That way your gnome will be nice and smooth all the way around. So, and then we want it to be level. Nice level. If you've got a little level and you want to use that, you can. It's not necessary, but I'm going to use one here. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to work on some of these other gnomes right now, but that's going to sit there, and when I get back from my lunch with my mom and my sisters, I'm going to be able to create the gnome. And I've got a nice little clay mixture I'd like to share with you, so we'll be back. All right, it's after lunch. After lunch, after grocery time, after putting some new goldfish in the tank. I think that's all I did. So, but now we're back. So here we are. I'm going to take it right out. So what I use these for, different stiffnesses, I'll show you as I create this little gnome, and you'll see how that works. So I've got my clay ready, and I've got my cone ready. And so let's get this started. I also have a little bowl of water mixed with glue sitting here as well. So a little glue water that I'm going to use to create this little gnome. So I'm going to have this one sitting next to us so you can see what it's supposed to look like when we're finished and see how close we get. So I'm going to put this one here so you can see him, and we'll put this one right. How will that, I don't know what works best. Oh, he should go right. He should go here. You can see him there, and I can work right here. This camera stuff's a little tricky. Okay, so here we go. The tools I'm going to be using, minimal. I've got a little plastic palette knife. I've got a little paintbrush that I'm going to use as I'm applying and smoothing the cement and the glue water. Okay, so. Anytime that we're applying a wet cement to a dry cement, we want to wet the dry cement. So after this cone, if I'm making a few of these, after this cone is all set, I just put it in a bucket of water and leave it there until I'm ready to use it. But we can do this as well and just get it wet. And so what I'm going to do is take this softer clay mix that I have, and we're going to start with the beard. We're starting with the beard because the nose goes on top of the beard. If you knead this enough, it'll get nice and moist on the outside, and that's what you want. So it'll be nice and smooth as you're working with it. So you can kind of shape it into its beard shape as you're applying it here. Now these clays don't have a lot of play time. This is going to go pretty quickly, but you're going to have at least a good 30 minutes. If you keep them moving, keep them in a plastic bag while you're working, and give them a good little knead every so often, you'll get a nice amount of play time. So here's my nose. Get a little bit wet there. This is how they do it when you're doing ceramics. Put the little hash marks on, little hash marks on the back of my nose. And then that's going to help it stick. And then we want our mustache. So again, I'm using the stiffer clay for the mustache, and I'm actually going to create the mustache and actually let it set aside to get even a little more stiff before I put it on, because I want these little the little curlicues. Now cement isn't meant to just curl and stay there, so you have to do a little bit work on that. Yeah. So I just take a little ball of the clay and break it in half. And again, work it, work it, work it. Where it'll start getting nice and shiny. Not really shiny, but nice. And then I'm going to point my camera down here so you can see how I'm doing. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to take off some of that. So I flatten it to make this part of the mustache right there. And then this part I am flattening and bringing out. This is where I'm going to make my curl. Just like that. So I need this to be skinny enough out here that it'll curl for me. Like so. And then I'm just going to gently, because it will crack if you're not careful, gently turn it up like this. There we go. There's my mustache. Let's measure it. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to take a pinch off of there. Let's see how that looks. There we go. That's a little better. We'll make a little bit more off of there. There we go. So here is the little mustache. And then of course we want to add the little textures there too. Like so. And set that one over there to get a little more firm. And we're going to make another one going the opposite direction. I'm going to use the more soft clay for the little crown of the hat up here, and my stiffer clay for the brim of the hat, because it's going to have to stand out a little bit. So you can see this is coming together pretty quickly. There we go. So I want this to be up there like that, and this is just going to come down and form the hat. Now it will sit there and be just what you want it to be. Okay, and now I'm going to use my more stiff clay and work it a little bit and work on this brim. You know how you used to always make the clay snakes, same. I'm gonna work with half of it. Flat it out a little bit. And this is the brim of my hat. There he is. Ta-da! Okay, I've done here's the one that we just finished, but here's one I had earlier. Here's the one that is finished. So I've done a light sand on this one, and I'm going to show you the next steps. So I've gone ahead and put a sealer on the whole thing. So this is what I've used. Painted the whole thing with the polyacrylic, and that's what I'm going to do with this little guy here. After the polyacrylic dried, I did go ahead and decide to paint the hat and the nose and the beard. And so I just did a light on the beard. I did a dry brush kind of thing. So the beard isn't completely all white. You can still see some cement through it. And I also did the nose and the hat. And now once these are completely dry, so probably later on this evening or even tomorrow, I will give these a spray paint. I will coat the whole thing in a shiny gloss, or I can do it matte. You do whatever you like. Finished except for its final clear coat on it. So I'm just going to demonstrate here because, I mean, you know how to you know how to put polyacrylic on something, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I really do enjoy making them. I really enjoy your comments as you ask questions and you give it a try. Some of these things that I make, that's kind of my hope. I'm going to make these things anyway. My daughter said I need to make these videos, so I am. But as I've created the videos, I've noticed that there's a lot of you out there that enjoy the creative process, and you watch what I'm doing and you do try it. And so I get really excited when you send me photos of things that you've done, or you're letting me know how it's working or not working sometimes, right? And then I need to say, oops, I forgot to tell you a step. So please ask questions, okay? Sometimes I do that. So anyway, thank you so much for viewing. I hope you try this little guy here. He's just really cute, and he's going to look really cute in someone's yard. So maybe you'll make one too. Have a great day.